Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom, and welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Dive Bomb Industries. I'm Jeff Stanfield with the world-famous Andy Shaver.
That's right. Our dive bomb order should be here today or tomorrow.
Well, truck will probably pull up in a minute.
As long as I don't have to unload that Sunday.
We'll be the only ones here, so it'll be you unloading it.
We're the only ones here, so I'm the only one that gets to unload it.
Yeah, it's called being the boss. One day you'll be the boss. You'll understand how that shit goes.
Interesting.
Our guest today from Habitat Flats, Arliss Reed. Arliss, is Tony Vandemore unloading that fucking truck, or is the other people doing it?
If he was around and available, he'd help unload it. But sometimes he's just, doing other things.
When you say help, does that mean point fingers and tell someone else to do it? Because that's how I help.
No, I got to give Tony all the credit in the world. He'd be right there trying to see how many boxes.
Well, see, he's younger than me, so he'll get over that one day. I talked to one of my peanut farmers the other day, and I've been wanting to go watch them do the whole thing on the peanuts because it's intriguing to me and very interesting. And the guy who owns it said, "Jeff, you can't come out there." I go, "Why?" He goes, "It's my job to point fingers and tell people what to do. I don't need you out there pointing fingers also." I said, "Okay, I understand."
We don't need two finger pointers out here because then it's all chaos then.
So,
too many chiefs.
Have y'all started duck hunting yet?
Well, we had youth season this past weekend, and one of our guides has a brother that's 15. So we took him out Saturday and Sunday morning, and Saturday he shot a limited ducks with a banded greenhead. It took him about an hour, and then Sunday we shot a limit for him in like 16 minutes. It was just little ducks, teal, and we shot a wood duck, a widgeon, and a pair of gadwalls. But it was a really, really good youth season, which, hopefully, predicates a good duck season. But we start main duck hunting in the North Zone where the Sumner Lodge is on Saturday, the 30th here. And then we start down here in the Middle Zone at the Grand on November the 6th. So we have basically 2 weeks.
Y'all have a bunch of duck snobs that come there and they want to shoot just greenheads. Is that typically a little early? Is it Thanksgiving before y'all start seeing mostly greenheads?
Man, it depends on the year. The last 2 years we've got our big push of mallards, and the end of October we've had snow in the Dakotas. A buddy of mine actually sent me a Snapchat memory from 1 year ago today in Fargo, and he had ice on the lake behind his house and a couple inches of snow. And today the high is 50 degrees in Fargo. So a lot of that just depends on what we have for ducks. I'm guessing this year there's plenty of mallards around, but there'll be a lot more of a mixed bag for the first part of the season. It's funny when guys come that want to shoot all mallards, I tell them, listen, I'm a duck hunter, not a mallard hunter. So we're going to take what we can get.
Do we have ice last year here?
Yes, the 20. Well,
or is it tomorrow?
Tomorrow, but Reese's birthday of a year ago, my son, it was cold and spitting ice and all that stuff.
We were out of school for 2 days on Monday and Tuesday last year at this same time, and it's going to be 90 freaking degrees today. And last year the high was 27 or 28 degrees on Monday and Tuesday, I think. We were out of school for 2 days. I don't think we got above freezing for 3 days.
I think we had like 80,000 mallards at the Grand last year on like October 27th or 28th. And then we had snow the end of October last year, and we haven't had a frost yet. I think we're looking at today. We got a cold front blowing through today. The high is like 52 and the low tonight's like 40. But yesterday it was 71 and we had tornado watches.
Yeah, lots of prayers for the people in West.
So it's definitely warmer this year.
It was a very bad tornado day yesterday in eastern Missouri and western Illinois, I believe. Chesterville, one of them towns, got hit pretty hard. What was your bird? Okay, you said you had 80,000 mallards on October 27th. How many mallards did you think you had on January 1st?
So last year, Grand Pass topped out at about 140,000 ducks, and that was on right the last week of the season, so January 1st. Last year, Grand Pass we never got the big number. Grand Pass is supposed to get 250, 300, 400,000 mallards on it by the end of the season every year, but I think we were just talking about this today. I think we only ran ice eaters like 10 nights last year, and it was super, super warm.
So, It was less than, so you said it topped out at what, 160? Is that what you said? 140. And it usually tops out on a good year, 250,000?
Yeah,
Woo.
quarter to half.
Big numbers way down to third down. Now, I don't know that if you've seen this yet because I haven't seen it anywhere other than Andy. So we're getting our weather forecast from Andy this time. Usually it's me and I catch shit. But
and I'm getting it from Joe Bastardi. I cite my sources.
Good.
I cite my sources.
Okay.
You just find some cockamamie thing on Facebook and run with it like it's the gospel.
Okay.
I cite my sources.
Joe Bastardi is saying that by the end of November, we're going to see a snow line from Kansas all the way to Canada. Big winter coming. He says it's going to be an abrupt change from what we've had, correct?
He said the endless summer of September and October will have a major reverse in November. And, yeah, like his models show November 28th, about midway through Kansas, a snow line, and pretty well all across continental U.S. So we'll see if he's right.
He's usually right. He's very, very accurate.
That'd be great for me here at Grand Pass because we have – what happens here is the ducks they come to Grand Pass, and when they get froze out of there, they go and sit on the Missouri River. And there's just so much ag ground around here. They go start dry fielding. Now, the end of November might be a little early for that, but I guess I'd rather have that than 65 degrees and no breeze.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it just –
Sunday after Thanksgiving, he's got snow covering the Texas Panhandle.
Oh, so now you're seeing it.
I'm looking at it right now.
Corroborating it.
Western Kansas. Well, I'm not corroborating. I'm just saying what it says. All of Nebraska, all of the Dakotas, big snowfall, all of North Dakota and Saskatchewan, Alberta, all the way back to British Columbia and the other end of it's British Columbia, fucking Saskatchewan, Alberta. What's the other one over there? It don't matter anyways. Ontario, I guess all of them. Big snow, and if it shows where it is, it's all north of Montana and stuff. That would really help us a bunch because we get a lot of birds out of that area.
Well, yeah, I mean, everyone could benefit from the Prairie Pothole region taking about 2 feet of snow this winter.
Would be big, crucial coming next spring and summer.
And I think last winter, other than that big shot in October, the Prairie Pothole region, for the most part, stayed, snowless and warm. Considering.
Right. So this fall, part of North Dakota got, the central part of the state got 5 inches of rain over the last couple of weeks. So that'll help because what'll happen there is if we can get some cold weather, if that ground freezes when there's still a bunch of sheet water, the potholes are still full before they have a chance to evaporate and drain. The ground freezes, the water freezes. That water will stay there until the spring, right? And the sheet water, when it melts, won't get down through the frozen ground. And, any snow, the problem with North Dakota with getting a bunch of snow is it gets so cold that the snow blows away because there's just, it's prairie, right? So really what you want is good groundwater. I mean, the snow helps, but then, some fall rains that get there and then they freeze because the ice doesn't evaporate. That really helps a lot in the prairie.
I've never thought about that. So that would give an extra sticking mechanism for the snow. That way it doesn't just blow away. If it's got that water underneath.
Well, air, right? Once the water's in ice form, it's not going to evaporate or blow away. So that's that really one is a wet fall and then a good cold to get everything frozen.
That makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense. We don't think about that here because we don't have rain, cold, or snow. So,
and now that we've talked about this, I guarantee you, we just jinxed it.
I saw the most optimistic person I've ever seen in my lifetime. I went by a snowmobile shop somewhere in the Northeast, and they had about 60 snowmobiles in crates still outside. And I thought, you don't see that shit in the North and South Dakota anymore because nobody has any faith it's ever going to snow. And that's what it used to be up there also. So maybe we will get some winter this year. I don't know. So how many guys you got working under you this year?
Well, for the last... since teal season, there's been 4 to 6 of us that have been here doing, the preseason work, brushing blinds, pumping and brushing pits, getting just everything. You'd think, we make a list at the end of teal season. Okay, this is what we have to get done before duck season starts, right? And the list is about 2 pages long. I think we have 29 stand-up blinds to brush. We use pin oak brush to brush those, and I want to say we have another 30 or 35 pits that we pump out and brush those with a type of grass we call rip gut. And then, we get that list chiseled down, and we're like, oh, we're getting close to the end. And now it's like, here it is the week before duck season, and there's still always something to do. We'll be busy right up until Friday morning when clients come in Friday afternoon. And it's not that we're behind the ball, but there's things like putting the electronics in the blind. We use these things we call the old Mojo Bosses. It's like a switchboard you can run 4 Mojos off of. And if you put that out in the timber before we fill the holes, before we're in there hunting, the squirrels lead all the wires off of them. So we have to wait until just a couple days before we're going to be in there hunting to put that stuff out. And then we just got an inch of rain. So we went and, we normally don't deploy decoys until a couple of days before for the same reason. We don't want them to grow legs. We don't want the squirrels to chew on them. But when there's a couple inches of rain, it makes everything up here. I don't know what it is down there, but the black gumbo mud here, if you get an inch of rain, it'll hold that moisture forever and take forever to be able to drive on it again. So we've been deploying decoys, and now there'll be 7 of us, including myself, at the Grand that guide and do all the stuff there. And we have, 10 or 12 kitchen and housekeeping staff here that I don't have to, we have a wonderful lodge manager, Sherry. She takes care of everything with the girls, and they do a fantastic job, thankfully, because that's one of the things we can control, right? Is how good the food is. We can't really control if it's going to be 65 degrees and no wind.
Right.
So you guys get that.
Yeah, we've been down that road all the dove season. I'm
glad to know that it's not just us. The week leading up to waterfowl season is the biggest shit show and a half around really, the week and a half leading up to dove season, and then the week and a half leading up to goose season. It is just a shit show. Everybody's ugly with one another, and I'm glad to know that it's not just us, because it seems like a rat race every single year. Now, what we do, we don't have permanent blinds, so and we just left the brush on the blinds last year. Every other year we take all the brush off the A-frames and completely start over, but last year they seem to be holding up pretty well. So we don't have to start from scratch, luckily, this year, because last year was a nightmare. We had 15 A-frames to brush completely, start to finish. So this year, we'll redo the tops and everything.
Do you guys use the zinc or the Avian X A-frames, or do you use?
No, we use Lucky Ducks, the 2x4s, the Lucky Duck 2x4.
So we have those redneck blinds, the redneck duck blinds that they make now on the skids, and they have a cover that's it's not a tarp, but it's not Cordura. It's like a waterproof material that's camouflage. And we take those covers off and left the grass on them last year and got them inside. And we store a lot of our stuff in storage containers. And that grass actually held up a ton and looks great. So that saved us 2 days of brushing redneck blinds.
Yeah, those things make a big difference. And like I said, last year we started completely over. A lot of what happens is in those pockets, that grass will start to break off, and they'll just little bitty dirt and little bitty grass will settle in those pockets. Well, when you put new grass in there, that pocket's already full, so any kind of wind will just blow that grass out of the pockets, and it doesn't hold worth a shit. So 2 years ago, we completely tore everything apart, emptied out those pockets. Well, last year it was a nightmare. We cut so much grass, but this year that'll be a big leg up for us. But other than that, we've got our decoys stored away, so we'll get all the trailers and stuff ready. But I hate the week before season. It's because you always, doesn't matter how much you do, you always forget something.
Yeah, we've tried to keep that to a minimum as far as the rat race, but there's always something breaks, something that someone forgot, like you said, or something like as simple as, a squirrel got in and chewed on this, and it's only been there for 3 days. Now we need to go replace it because we're going to hunt there opening morning, and somebody's in there in the dark, or a generator quit, or one of the pumps. You never know. I go and check my pumps every single day because they're electric. They're either run on, power line electric or on diesel generator electric, and the diesel generators, I don't know if you've ever dealt with them very often, but they can be a bear, and you never know what they're like a vehicle now. They have computers inside of them. There's all kinds of moving parts on these diesel generators, and if you don't check them every single day, you never know. You might think, oh well, the pump's fine. Well, it's been off for 2 days.
Yeah. We've made our life So,
and that's part.
We've made our life so much more complicated than we've had to, just like the computers and the diesel generators.
Oh, right.
Just pump water and make it easy. We've gotten so far away from that. Sounds to me like if I was you, I would be killing over every fucking squirrel I saw.
We could use about an army of 12-year-olds because there's so many fox squirrels in the woods that if I had like 100 12-year-olds, we could deploy. We might be able to make a small dent in them then, but without that, you're just wasting
So tell me
time.
about this switchboard. What you said you put that in the blinds? What does it operate?
So Mojo, I don't know if Mojo makes them anymore now. We call them, I think they're called the Decoy Boss. It's like it's a square, literally switchboard that's got controls on it. You can control how long the Mojos are off and on, how fast the wings spin. You can turn one on or all four on, and they hook to they convert from a 12-volt car battery, and you can hook four of them. You basically hardwire your Mojos we use extension cords. You go in and you cut the like the little clips that go on the Mojo batteries. Mm-hmm. You have your positive and your negative in there, and inside of an extension cord, there's a positive, negative, and a ground, and you just basically take a wire nut and some electrical tape, and you just hardwire the Mojo into the extension cord. Then on the other end, you cut the plug, you cut the other plug off, and you put like those, what they're called, those little U-channel. You can slide them under like a post, like a battery post, and you got little lugs that you just tighten those down, and then you can run. We generally run 3 Mojos in our timber holes, and you can turn them on, turn them all on, turn them all off at the same time from inside the blind, and that takes away remotes and having to recharge batteries. And if you put 2 deep cycle batteries in your blind, you're good for 2 weeks. Like that, if they're good batteries.
So you don't charge your spinners
that
every
way,
night. It's hardwired in.
Well, it depends. If the guys that hunt out in the fields and in the cornfields and in the moist soil units, they charge Mojos and bring Mojos every. The guys in the timber holes, we try and set those blinds up with permanent Mojo rigs, so they don't have to be charged them. And also, like some of our places, we're hunting ducks. We're hunting traffic ducks in the woods. And the ducks, they might be 10,000, 20,000 ducks that get up out of the corn at one time and fly back to the refuge. So when that big wave starts, we shut the Mojos off and don't call out, because you don't want to start the front half or even the middle of that bunch of ducks, and you might get 5, 6, 7,000 ducks landing in a tiny timber hole, and you're not going to shoot into that many ducks. You don't want to educate that many ducks to decoys and all that stuff. So it's nice to be able to just, here comes the big wave, okay, shut it off. And we shut the wings off. Or if guides are out there in the hole, cleaning up cripples, picking up ducks, whatever, making an adjustment, you just flip the Mojos off with one switch, and that way you don't have ducks working you while you got guys in the decoys. And it's kind of like a stop go thing. Like, all right, I'm shutting the wings off, I'm gonna be out in the decoys, nobody shoot till I get back.
That's fascinating.
So it helps with a safety aspect.
Who the hell rigged that up? That's fascinating.
Mojo made them for years, and like I said, I don't know if they still do. They're like one of those things that, like a Mojo Mallard machine. It's like a motion. It's like a trolling motor prop with 3 arms. You put 3 decoys on. You hook that to a battery, and you press it, and it pulls the decoys under the water, and it creates motion. But Mojo stopped making that, so we have some left, but we treat them like, they're like gold. Like, there's only 5 working Mallard machines left. We got to make sure these things get taken care of as best they can. And the same thing with the Bosses, because once the ones that we have break, we're out. But I mean, I'm sure an electrician or someone like that could probably sort something like that out. But it was called the Decoy Boss, and I don't know if they make it anymore or not.
That's a great idea. So this big wave, when it comes, would you shoot into like the latter part of it? Like if you worked a group towards the tail end of that big wave, or do you just kind of, once that wave starts, you just let it all finish?
I mean, you generally let the big wave go, and it's hard to tell. It's like, okay, here comes. You're watching for a while. Okay, 10,000 ducks just flew over, and you wait and wait and wait and wait. Okay, Okay, I think they're gone, and we flip the wings back on. But then there might be another 50 pack that comes after them, and you'll shoot them, but or whatever. I mean, a single to 50 is about what I try not to shoot in groups of ducks over 50 unless we're in the dry field in the late season, because you guys know how it is. You can't help it sometimes, because if you don't shoot the first 150 there in the decoys, if you wait a minute, there's 500. Because when they get dry field coming off the river is when there's 300,000-400,000 ducks, and they come in giant bunches, and you can't help it. You might as well shoot the first bunch.
Do y'all do a bunch of dry land shooting up there?
We do more here at the Grand than we do in Sumner, and it's funny. It's only like a 35-mile distance in between the two lodges, but for some reason the ducks in Sumner don't really want a dry field. Now they will, but they don't generally want to. And the ducks at Grand Pass, they dry. I mean, we've shot them in November in dry fields before. So we definitely do more dry fielding at the Grand than they do in Sumner.
Do you have clients that complain whenever you don't shoot at that the big water? You tell them up front, like, listen, they get a free pass.
Generally, most of our clients are return clients, and they've been here and they know the deal. We don't really have that big wave at the Grand so much as they do in Sumner. And, some new guys, but man, once you explain it to them, listen, the guys before you into them, the guys after you aren't going to shoot into them, and we're not going to shoot into them. And that way we'll continue to have ducks here all season that aren't, don't have a PhD in duck hunting.
Yeah, it's a fine line that you have to walk, because, so many people think, well, by God, I paid my money. Like, I can do whatever the hell I want out here. And it's like, well, let's pump the brakes a little bit with that attitude. Like, this is a marathon for us. It might just be 2 days for you, but this is a marathon for us. And ultimately we have to do what's best for everybody. And it's a fine line to walk, but you have to, I mean, if you're going to do this for 3 months out of the year, you better have a little bit of long-term thinking on your side, or you're going to get to Christmas for us. Cause we go to February. You're going to get to Christmas, and January is going to be a ball buster.
Yeah. A lot of times when our ducks will start to get nocturnal on us here, and we'll hunt, we'll shut off in the afternoon in the corn. Like, we won't hunt after 1 or 2, depending on the time of year. And a lot of the clients are like, well, I don't have a limited ducks yet. Well, I'm sorry that, and I know that sucks. We can go somewhere else, but we're not going to hunt in the corn after this time, because we have to get the ducks off that nighttime cycle, and that get them off. You leave them alone in there in the afternoon, or the best thing is for like a weather event. You get a big rain or a big cold front, snow, something like that. It'll get them back on a daytime pattern, but it's hard to get ducks off a nocturnal pattern. Once they figure out they can go out there and feed all night and not get messed with, it's tough. And, sometimes giving them the afternoon to not get shot at in the corn is what it'll help a lot, for your late morning to noontime hunting. But, we have wetland units, timber holes that will take guys, and we can hunt all day if we have to. Generally, we like to obviously go out, shoot limit by 9 o'clock, and come back and, kick back for the afternoon. But if we have to hunt all day,
in a perfect world, that's what happens. What's your theory on why the birds will go nocturnal? What's your thinking? I've heard everything from, moon cycles to warm weather to pressure. What does Arliss think?
I think if you put all that stuff in a bowl and kind of mix it up, and there's your answer. Obviously, on full moon, ducks are. So when I was in college, we did these things called activity budgets, right, for ducks. So what it is you go out to a refuge and you take a spot scope and you pick out one duck, and you watch that one duck for a set amount of time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 7 minutes, whatever it is. And every 10 seconds or every 30 seconds, you're recording what that duck's doing. And they're either feeding, resting, preening, or social, which is where they are chasing each other around and all that. And ducks that are content are feeding or are resting and preening, right? So they don't need to eat. They don't need to, it's warm enough out. They got enough of a good food source. So when it's 70 degrees or 65 degrees, there's no wind blowing. They know that there's a big moon tonight. We're just going to sit here and enjoy this weather, and we're going to conserve energy, right? We're not going to fly around and risk getting ourselves shot in the ass we're going to just sit here. But okay, now it's 20 degrees colder, or the wind's blowing a little harder. Okay, I know that just sitting here, I'm burning energy. I need to go find food to continue to maintain my body fat level to be able to make it to, Arkansas to spend the winter, and then make it back to the prairie pothole to have a successful nest. So a lot of that stuff. Okay, so back to your question. Now it's 50 degrees out. Last time we flew out in the corn in the daylight, or we moved in the daylight, we got shot at. So now I don't need to move when it's 50 degrees out and no wind blowing. 35 degrees, I'm freezing my butt off. I need to go feed. I'm going to risk it, right? But, the moon phase is definitely one, because when it's a full moon, the ducks feed at night regardless. It just happens to be if there's a full moon when it's cold, whether or not they'll fly during the day.
Right.
Like here at Grand Pass, the public area, they hunt until 1 p.m. And people, everybody that hunts Grand Pass say the ducks here can tell time, because at 1:30 it's like a beehive over there. Ducks, no, okay, everybody's gone, let's go.
Yeah, it's crazy how that happens.
But that's a pressure.
Yeah, that's pressure related.
So and that's a pressure, like moon phase, pressure, temperature, time of the year. You get new ducks and they just fly around, and then, everybody always quote unquote looking for new ducks. Oh, we saw new ducks today, or stale ducks. Ducks that are quote unquote stale. They know where the blinds are. They know what decoys are. They know when to fly, when not to fly. They show up 1 minute after shooting time and leave 1 minute before shooting time. That kind of thing.
Yeah, those are pressured ducks. Yeah, for sure. They when they start telling time, they're getting shot at. It was that way in Oklahoma 4 or 5 years ago. And it was also warm, so it was like 65 in the evening time. And then as soon as you pull that first decoy up or unload the first shotgun, well, here come the ducks. It was warm and they were pressured. It's just like, well, I mean, there's no answer here. There's nothing I can do.
No. And amazing.
There's not like one thing to say, okay.
The amazing thing is the customers that will complain about that. Well, they didn't fly till dark. Okay.
I'll put in a complaint with their head boss.
How do you expect it? We're showing you, we're on the hot spot. There's 5,000 ducks now in the air right here. All of a sudden, we're picking up decoys and they're trying to land on us. It's because of the weather. Now, if it was 15 degrees cooler, those ducks would have flown an hour earlier probably.
Right.
But it's just part of it. If it's, it's clear, there's just nothing to make them go. Plus, they're smart. These birds are getting hammered. We are at October the 25th today, and some of these ducks have been getting shot for 8 weeks already. I mean, they
That's right.
Yeah.
September 1st in Canada goes, and they start boys. It's just like turkey hunting. If a tom turkey could smell, you'd never kill one. And duck, it's a miracle that you guys can shoot anything after they've flown the whole flyway of getting shot at since they were 6 weeks old. Some of them, and there's hen mallards that are 20 years old. She knows exactly where to take that brood, and they'll show up at Grand Pass or Squaw Creek or Silver Lake, or Swan Lake in Sumner. They'll show up there in the middle of the night, and it's like, how do you know where to go? How do you get here in the dark? But it's because that hen mallard brought her brood there, or that lead hen in that flock took them in there because she's been coming there for 10 years, and her mother showed her where it was for 10 years, and they get smart, and it's crazy how they figure that. Migration always blows my mind too. Like, how do they know? Like a hen mallard who has a nest that's successful will go back to that same exact spot the following year and lay the nest in the same exact spot. It's like, how does she go 2,000 miles and then back to the same spot? Or like a blue-winged teal that flies
to where?
Argentina or Cuba, and then back to the Dakotas or Saskatchewan and next.
I'm a firm believer now on calendar birds this year more than ever. In 30 years of doing this, I believe in calendar birds more right now today than I ever have, because it's 90 degrees today. We ran geese off of our peanut fields today that we just got combined, and we ran geese, and what'd you think, 5,000 in that video that you had, Andy?
Give or take,
Yeah, probably 5,000 birds. There's probably 15, 20,000 birds here, maybe, I guess. Why would 15 to 20,000 birds be in West Texas October 25th when it's been 90 degrees?
Yeah.
A ton in the last 2 months. We haven't had a cold day yet.
the specs rolled through here right around the 7th, 8th of October, and it was hot. And I mean, we were hunting early. Our early honker season, I think, is like the first full week in October, and we were seeing specs at the end of it, and we can't shoot them in here then, but they rolled through here hard. And then there's still a bunch of them here. I bet I'm seeing more speckled bellies here now than I ever have, and this will be my, I think, 7th season at HF, and it seems to me like, for one thing, there's a ton of juvies this year. Like, we watch them fly over, and there's lots and lots of juvie specs this year. But there's more of them sticking around now than there ever has been. And like this morning, I saw my first snow goose of the year. I think it's a Rossi, probably feeding with a bunch of specs. But yeah, that calendar thing, I mean, the pintails that come through during teal season are right at the end of teal season, and then they keep right on going to Arkansas, even though it's literally 100 degrees in Missouri. We get typically our calendar mallards here are November 10th. And this year we might have them because as cold as it's been. And like I said, there's some mallards around, but there's not a ton right now. Nothing like the last 2 years as far as early ducks. But it's also been, we haven't had a
think
frost,
we as hunters just assume that ducks are all shitty cold weather birds, because you can go to the Texas coast and they have the tree ducks that are there all summer. They've got the fulvous Mexican brown duck, whatever hell you want to call them. They're there all summer. And you can go to any city park anywhere in the United States today and see the wild mallards that have made that their new home. So I think we just assume it's got to be cold and shitty for a duck to like it, because you can go to Disney World right now and there's probably 1,000 mallards living in Disney World that eating popcorn all day long and happy as hell, and they're wild ducks.
Well, look at the Canada geese. I mean, the resident Canada goose population in the U.S. is, they hunt resident Canadas in Alabama now. Those geese shouldn't be there. They shouldn't have stayed there for as long as they have, and they just figured it out. Okay, we can have a successful nest here, and we don't get shot at, and we don't have to fly back to, boreal Canada to lay a nest. Why don't we just stay here?
Well, there's a lot of truth to that. I grew up in Wichita Falls. We didn't have a goose there. And there's 2,000 or 3,000, 4,000 local geese probably that are there now that weren't there 15 years ago.
I grew up in upstate New York, and I can remember being like, I want to say I was like 12 or 13, 14 years old when the first September goose season started, and the limit was 5. And we used to go around and ask farmers to goose hunt, and they would be like, you want to do what? You want to shoot the geese? Yeah, sure, go for it. And now the limit's 15, and there's a spread in every field, and all the geese that fly out to fields that can get shot at, and all the rest of them stay in the parks and in cities and in places or farmers that don't allow hunting. It's like the geese know where they get shot at and where they don't. But that was I guess like almost 25 years ago now that all was going. We were just starting resident goose hunting in upstate New York, and now it's like a destination to go do it. People, dive bomb guys go up there and hunt, and you get those molt migrators up there along the Canadian border, and it's great, it's fun, but it's so much different than it was when I first
Where
started
at
doing
in
it.
upstate New York did you grow up at? Yes.
Where am I from? About 10 miles from the Canadian border, and right along the St. Lawrence River up there in the Thousand Island region. So right next to Fort Drum.
We're
little bitty town.
We're going on vacation this summer up there somewhere, and we don't know where we're going to go at yet, but we're going to go to upstate New York, take the grandkids, rent a house on a lake somewhere, a river.
Okay. What do you want to do? Do you want to fish? Do you want to sightsee? What do you want to do?
Let my grandkids sightsee, and we want to sightsee. They want to fish, raft, canoe, kayak, whatever. Just a family outing for a week to get out of the hot summer in July here and go up there, and probably somewhere around somewhere in the Adirondacks.
Yep. So there's lots of places you can fly into Syracuse and drive an hour and a half north of the Thousand Islands, get an Airbnb, and do all the things you just listed. There's water parks and all kinds of stuff for kids to do. Yeah, hit me up later in the year, and I'll help.
Well, we're going to do that, so keep it in mind and think about if you think of a good place and someone's got an Airbnb or VRBO up there. That's what we're looking at.
What took you down to Habitat Flats?
Yep, it's
What took you down to Habitat
What's that?
Flats?
Well, I worked, started on the Avery Pro staff in like 2010 probably, and I was working for the USDA for an agency called Wildlife Services at the time, shooting birds at airports and landfills and trapping beavers and shooting deer on airports and doing all that wildlife damage stuff. And then Avery needed a new territory manager in like late 2014, early 2015. So I applied for that job for the Atlantic Flyway Territory, which is like 14 states up and down the seaboard, like South Carolina and Maine, over to Ohio and Michigan. And with no sales experience, something like that, I just knew all the product and, good people, person, and all that. They gave me a shot, and they hired me. And that was right at the time, unfortunately, when Avery was being bought by Banded. And I worked with Kate Vandemore, Tony's wife. She was in charge of social media marketing for Avery Outdoors at that time. And we would sit together at sales team meetings, and we got along, became friends. And that's actually when I first met Tony, was when I was working for Avery. And Avery got bought by Banded. They had a sales guy in my same territory who was the Avery territory manager before me. And, business is business. They said, sorry, but, we have somebody in this position, and they ended up having to lay me off. And that happened on Wednesday in August 2015. Thursday morning, I text Kate asking her if Tony needed any help, because that was the year the HF started the Central Prairie Lodges with Cooper and those guys out in Kansas and up in Canada. So Kate, said, who's asking? And I told her what had happened, and she said, yeah, sure, send Tony an email. And that was on Thursday. And on Friday morning, I had a job at Habitat.
Great story.
Isn't that crazy? Like,
it worked out.
When you see how...
Yeah, I've been here. Well, I ended up taking a year off from July 2018 to July 2019. I went and worked as a regional director in New York for Ducks Unlimited. And, Ducks Unlimited is a great organization, but selling raffle tickets at a VFW on a Friday night really isn't the life for me. I really like the guiding and the habitat management and, all of that. And they opened the Grand. And, I said to Tony, I was like, man, I'd love it if you had a spot for me to be able to come back. And he ended up hiring me back and actually, had me kind of run the show here at the Grand. I have, like I said, I've got 6-7 guys that work for me. And, Cooper Olmsted, who's been on your show, you guys know Coop. He works here at the Grand with me, and, Coop's like my right-hand man. I can lean on him to do, he helps with everything I need to help with. And it's great having Coop here. But yeah, I ended up coming back in July 2019, and I don't see myself going anywhere anytime soon. That's for sure.
Isn't it crazy how, when you think about how big Avery was, and then now they're trying to rebrand themselves basically. I mean, when you think back to like 2000, 2001 to 3 to 4, like it was Avery. It was Avery's game. It was Avery's game to lose. They were humongous, and then they just disappeared.
Well, I mean, I think, at that time there really wasn't, there was a lot of keys to Avery's success. They had some really, really, really good and smart people in the right places in their organization. And they had the Fred Zinks of the world, the Tony Vandemores of the world, Field and Clay Hudnall, Sean Stahl, anybody who was anybody in the waterfowl industry in the early 2000s worked for Avery Outdoors. The only guy that didn't was Jeff. And I think Jeff Foyles might have even had something to do with Avery at some point. And there's, a few other guys, but I mean, just for the most part, Avery, they had the market cornered. Now you look at it now, and there's Avian X, you have Dive Bomb, you have Hardcore, you have, Final Approach, all these other companies that are out there that make a great product. And Avery is just one of those companies now. And it's unfortunate because, I grew up cutting my teeth being, an Avery guy. I remember the days of the old Avery forum. You go have a good hunt, you go post a picture and write up the story of the Avery forum, on the Avery forum. And, you learn I learned tons of stuff just from watching, Fred's old In the Blood, 24/7 series. And now, like even growing up watching the F5 Habitat Flats videos, hunting snow geese, we try and see how they had stuff set up. And, hunting snow geese in New York was a little different than hunting here, but at the end of the day, it's all the same thing.
Do you think that they tried to get, do you think that they were too big Is it because, I mean, they had decoys, they had apparel, they had blinds. Do you think that it got to be this monster that was too big to get a handle on everything? Or do you think, because right around that time, 2010, the economy was also in the shitter?
Well, I know one thing, that guys, no matter what the economy's like, they like to spend
True.
money on duck hunting still. I mean, duck hunting is one of the most expensive games you can get in, right? So I guess the best answer I have for you there is I think they just made a few too many changes at the wrong time, and there was a few people who, were making the wrong decisions. And, like packaging changes on decoys in China in June. And if that packaging change doesn't happen, those decoys get put in a container and shipped across in June, and they're in the U.S. in the end of July in time to be shipped to their dealers. Because you got to remember, Avery wasn't a dealer direct. They relied solely on the
Like
backs
Cabelas.
of dealers.
Cabelas, right?
And Cabelas or any of the mom and pop places all across. I mean, I want to say I had like 75 retailers that were Avery dealers when I was a salesman for them. And the guys in the northern part of the country that have September goose season starting are not getting their Honker full bodies, their layout blinds in until maybe into September. If they got them in July when they're supposed to, they get them in, they get bought, everybody's happy. Well, when the stuff doesn't go in the container in China until July because they had to change all the boxes because the person in charge didn't like the pictures on the box, then they don't get shipped in time, they don't get to the retailer in time, and then they don't get sold. So the next year the retailer doesn't buy as many decoys because I don't have faith that they're going to show up in time.
Right.
And a lot of those people are not at Avery anymore, and Bandit is taking over, and there's still some really good people at Avery, at Bandit and Avery that I talk to still, that I used to work with, and those guys are the right people that are supposed to be there. And I think that's why Avery is now kind of coming back to where I think I would be surprised if Avery came back around to be the top dog at some
I
point.
think one of the things that hurts today, it not hurts. The same thing that's changed everything is the internet. And people don't have to get, like, if we're going to buy something around here, we have mostly sponsors anyway, so we don't purchase much anything anyways. But for the average guy that hunts with us or listens to podcasts and they buy something, they don't go to Cabelas no more. They go straight direct and they look online for what they want.
They go to Instagram. That's what's crazy. I bought a new pair of bibs. I bought a pair of Carhartt bibs because my old bibs took a shit on me, and I don't do Sitka. So there's not much in the way of waterfowl bibs if you're not going to go Sitka and you're not going to go Banded. I went Carhartt. The motherfuckers are going to last. They're going to outlive me. I went to Instagram to see which pair of Carhartt bibs I wanted to order. That's where I went.
And did you buy them right on Instagram?
I didn't buy them on Instagram, but that's where it sold me on the pair of bibs that I was going to get. It's based off of what I saw on their Instagram.
Everybody out there that's buying their own shit makes them feel better to know that you bought your own shit and you didn't get it free.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you look at Dive Bomb, they're dealer direct, and Cody and those guys do a great job. I mean, they have great customer service. You call them, you talk to a live human in the U.S., and they, take care of any problems that you have over the phone. I mean, if you look at the guys on the internet, Kyle Jones and, Asher and all those guys, they are, you go on the Dive Bomb forum, and if there's any problem that's on there, Kyle or Asher or one of those guys is answering that problem within minutes. And they'll say, okay, get DMs, give me a call, we'll make it right. And it's like, that's for guys like me who grew up, like you said, buying stuff, or, I can remember going through the Cabelas catalog to place my order.
Tearing that page out, writing what you wanted, and then sending it that way.
Yeah. And then it's like the internet, we can go online and order it from Cabelas online. Oh, I want to go try this on in the store. Now you go to a Cabelas or a Bass Pro, and, I'm sure that part of it is COVID, but they don't have the stuff in stock, and they don't have, she might as well just, okay, I'm just going to order it online. And it's, I hate it because I used to love going to Cabelas, and I love going to Bass Pro and places like that to go check stuff out. That'd be a thing. We're going to Cabelas today. Let's load up and go have lunch and go to Cabelas.
I went to Bass Pro. I went to Bass Pro Shops 2 weeks ago. First time I've been in a Bass Pro Shop or a Cabelas in 3 years, I bet.
I'm sure.
And I went in there and I bought I bought a jacket that I wanted. I bought a coat. Me and you are on the same boat. We're having to buy smaller shit. So I had to go buy a skinnier boy's coat. Still a fat boy, but it was a little skinnier than the ones I had less X's in front of it. So I went and bought me a coat before we went up north the other day. And that's the first time I've been in one of them stores forever. And I walked through the waterfowl section just to look around. And it reminded me of shopping at Walmart. It just was nothing there. But if you call Dive Bomb, you talk to Cody, you talk to Kyle, you talk to Asher, you talk to Forrest, you talk to somebody there that knows what's going on. When you call Boss, you get to talk to Zach or Brandon. I mean, you're actually, what other time in our life do you actually get to talk to someone that speaks English, that knows what the product is inside and out, can help you? And that's where these companies are winning, is because of customer service.
Yeah. It's funny. We get a lot of clients here that like call and Tony answers the phone. They're like, I can't believe I actually talked to Tony about my hunt there. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure when they call you guys.
Oh, yeah, I'm the only son bitch who knows how to answer a phone around here. So, yeah, they're going to talk to me. But I get that all the time, too. Is this Jeff? Yeah, I can't believe you answer phone. Well, who the fuck else you think is going to answer the damn thing? Nobody.
And
yeah, I mean, like, people are mindful that it's Tony Vandemore answering the phone. So, he's just a regular guy. He's just doing.
I bet he mows his own yard, too. Yeah, well,
Jeff Stanfield does not. I feel my kids are getting robbed, because I can remember the end of summer, you would get the Max Prairie Wing catalog in, you would get the Cabelas magazine in, and I never did. I was always Cabela. We got Bass Pro in Dallas before we got Cabelas, and I was like, motherfucker, when are we going to get a Cabelas? Because they were centered around waterfowl. And then we finally got, but I can remember end of July, first part of August, I'd get those two magazines in, and it was like Christmas. Hunting season is almost here. Let me go through these magazines, and it was page turning. I can remember buying calls from those magazines based off of what I saw in the Max Prairie Wings magazine, and my kids aren't going to have that now. It's a different way of shopping, but it was. You'd get those magazines in, and you're like, here we go, boys.
Yeah. When we were in college, we would take a weekend and go to the Eastern Outdoor Show, that big one there in Hamburg, Pennsylvania. And then we go, it's Harrisburg. It's in Pennsylvania. And then we would go to the Cabelas. That's right, yeah. The show's in Harrisburg and the Cabelas is in Hamburg. So we would go, get a hotel room, go to the show, go to Cabelas. It'd be like a weekend. It'd be like a thing to go do. And then now it's like, I can't tell you the last time I was in the Cabelas. Maybe last year in Kansas City or something. I don't even know. It's too bad. Cabelas was like a museum, and some of those big Cabelas, all the mounts and the fish and all that stuff. And now nobody goes.
Unless you're like up Schitt's Creek and like a piece of your equipment took a shit and like you need it tomorrow.
We have Rogers Sporting Goods within like an hour and a half from both lodges. So, and we have a good relationship with those guys. And if we need something, we go to Rogers, or, we can call them and say, hey, I'm on my way. Can you set it aside? Sure, no problem. But Cabelas and Bass Pro is just a little bit further away than Rogers, but we try and we go to all
both of those. Well, they're one now. They're a Bass Pro Shop only,
and I think that hurts also.
And the guy's worth $500 billion, so it's not like anything I'm going to tell him is something that's going to cost him in his pocketbook, because he damn sure knows how to make money and I don't. But they missed the boat on not doing more outfitter type deals and being exclusive with outfitters and keeping them on pro staffs and cutting them a hell of a deal just because they would use their product all the time. I really think they screwed the pooch on that deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. A lot of our guys, wear Sitka and stuff like that. And because, like, the waders, like, I used to love Cabelas waders. And now, I mean, I still don't have a pair of Sitka waders. I'm almost probably to where I can fit into them now. But but I still am a Cabelas wader guy. I've got breathables and trying to get a new pair of Super Mags, but they're back ordered everywhere. I think they're probably sitting in a container in the Pacific Ocean someplace. But I'm not sure
I
about
saw a
that.
video yesterday of a container ship that lost half its containers off the top. A big wave hit him and went off. And I thought,
Those
some
poor bastards.
fucker is waiting for shit to keep his doors open in business, and he
Has been waiting.
and he's not getting them for sure now.
It's at the bottom of the ocean. You ought to look at Shin Gear. Shin Gear, they can customize your top. You can get your boot size and customize your top.
Yeah, I haven't spent the $1,000 on the sickle waders yet, and I'm not sure about the $1,100 on the Shin Gear ones for something that if I get it caught, getting out is going to be just as useless as a $100 pair of
You just got to
throwaway
bite
ones.
the bullet. You got to bite the bullet. Dive in with both feet.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I've got a pair of fire waders that I'm going to give a
Of
shot
what?
this year. The new Aspire by Banded or Avery. I guess they're Banded. They're high-end, breathable. They're like the next step above the black labels, but they're uninsulated.
Okay, I gotcha. The one thing I did see that Avery was doing that I thought was a smart move is they've got that Heritage line. It's all like solid colors, and as popular as that solid tin cloth stuff is now, I think, and I guess I think they started that like 2 years ago. It looks really good, and I think that was very, very smart. Everybody's kind of going to that Filson look, and that was smart.
I have I gave it away the other day. I had one of their Heritage sweaters that is now way too big for me. I have still have the wader jacket. Only now I can wear it outside my waders, but it's the oiled wax canvas jacket. It's like a Filson jacket, and I wore it this morning. I love it. It's not 100% waterproof like Gore-Tex, but if it's not flat pouring, it's a great jacket. I mean, it blocks the wind it's a great outer layer. If you're going to think about getting one of those, I would. I recommend them highly.
It's good stuff. I mean, everything. That's what's crazy too. Like now, there's so many good lines out there.
Have you noticed, Arliss, you're having a hard time finding fat friends to give all your old clothes to?
It's funny. I have one buddy that's. I brought him over probably. I don't even know. I don't even want to think about how much money worth of clothing it was, and he's like, I got to give you something. I'm like, yeah, no, you don't. He gives me $200. I'm like, that's whatever. But it was like Under Armour stuff, Carhartt stuff, Sitka stuff, Cabelas stuff. It's just too big for me now, so I just gave it to my buddy Justin, and whatever. I'd rather do that than.
Now, is that kind of a slap in the face to your buddy? You giving listen, I'm way too skinny for these, but you're a big ass. Jeff, is that he knows?
Nah, he
fat
knows.
guys know they're fat. We're fat men aren't like fat women. We know what fucking we know. Fat women don't know because you can tell the shit they wear. Fat guys knows he's fat. There ain't no doubt about it. Can you sit in a booth yet?
I mean.
That's a win-win when you can go sit in a restaurant and sit in a booth.
Yeah, I went to dinner with a couple of my friends the other day, and I slid in the booth, and they're like, huh, okay. And I was like, yes.
Yeah, on an airplane the other day, I kept moving the fucking thing up and down, up and down, up and down. And Michelle goes, what are you doing? And I said, it's just a good feeling to be able to layer that damn deal down with that sitting on my belly.
Yeah, I can set the steering wheel on the Ranger all the way to the bottom.
Have you fat shamed anyone yet? Because I'm a fat shamer now because I see someone fat and I'm thinking they need to have surgery. And Andy gets on to me all the time about that.
I would never probably do that. But I mean, if anybody ever wanted to ask me about, the surgery that I had and all that, and, people think it's, for one thing, if you ever think it's the easy way out, I'll tell you to go kick rocks because it is not. I mean, it is like by far the hardest thing I've ever done. But I would never tell somebody, oh, you should do it. If anybody wants to do it, absolutely. But
I witnessed a big argument just last week about all this.
What?
The easy way out.
Oh, yeah. I got told it was the easy way out the other day. It's not easy.
Not by me. Not by me.
No, it's not an easy way out at all. Now.
It's a quicker way.
It's a quick way. But I've changed. I've had to change a lot of things I do, and you feel uncomfortable. I've been fortunate. Just so everybody knows, Arliss and me had surgery at the same place. But I have not had to. I haven't been sick. I don't feel good sometimes if I eat too much, and I know, and I'm learning my boundaries. And I have not been eating good because I eat a lot of stuff that tastes good, because since COVID, things don't taste good to me. And unfortunately, Oreos taste good, Ritz crackers taste good with cheese, ice cream sandwiches taste good, sweet tea tastes good. Coffee tastes okay, but that's it, and water. And that's what I have. And then I eat accordingly to some things that taste good and some things don't. So I don't eat anything fried, though. I had a piece of fried chicken last night, and that's it. But I don't eat like French fries and shit like that. I don't ever get anything fried. Fried stuff don't taste good anyways.
See, for me, I haven't had any sugar really. And I know I ate a piece of cornbread the other day, and it had like sugar on the top of it. And it was just a little piece, and it made me feel like crap. And I was like, okay, good. I can't eat sugar. I haven't tried anything like that. No candy, no nothing. I haven't had any fast food. I haven't had any soda. All I drink now is Gatorade Zero, water with Crystal Light in it, Propel water, straight water. I haven't had hardly any caffeine. I haven't had, anything that I'm not supposed to have. I know I can only eat so much, right? So I'll have like a pure protein bar, which tastes like a candy bar, but it's got like 2 carbs in it. And it's 20 grams of protein. I'll have that for breakfast, or lunchtime. If you go to a restaurant, I'll order a chicken sandwich and not eat the bun. Like a grilled chicken sandwich or something like that. But for me, the hardest thing is like not that I was an alcoholic before, but I like to go out and have a good time. And it's not even hard anymore. I haven't had a drop of alcohol since August 7th. I used to love Diet Pepsi. I haven't had, obviously, I'm not supposed to drink soda. I haven't had any soda in months. But it's just, the hard part for me was like the liquid diet part of it beforehand, the liquid diet afterwards. And then like just the simple fact of knowing, okay, I need to keep hydrated. I need to make sure I get my protein goals. And I mean, I've lost 73 pounds since like August 7th.
You're still a rookie on this, not eating.
It's
why?
Because I was the same way when I was at his stage, because it didn't. They have. What stage are you at? Are you done now? Are you completely?
But hold on a second. You're getting good habits. Like this is like what you like, chicken and staying away from the beer and staying away from the soda. Because I know people that have said like, they tell you not to drink a soda, but I drink a soda. Like, well,
no. But what I'm saying,
so like,
he's week 10.
Fucking stay away,
right?
If you can.
Are you week 12 now? What week are you on?
No, I think like the only thing I can't have right now are like raw seeds, like peanuts
he's at
or
the same.
lettuce. Everything else is.
I went through that same stage that you went through, exactly the same deal, because they've got what stage you can have certain things at, and I'm past all that. But I don't drink sodas. I have not had a soda since March, and I don't miss a soda. I drink a beer every once in a while. I drink these sour beers.
Fucking awful.
Oh, I like them. The sour beers
That's
are
terrible.
good because they taste good to me. But I might have one every 3 nights. I might have one beer, but that's it. I don't drink a whole lot. Now in Mexico with Logan Pyatt. Logan. Logan's a bad influence on me. So I drank a whole lot in Mexico with him that I would normally not have done. But we drank mudslides like a bunch of bitches is what me and him drank down there.
See, we just had the Sumner Wild Goose Festival this past weekend, and the population of Sumner is like 104. And during Goose Festival, there'll be over 1,000 people in town. There's a big block party and all that stuff. And I didn't drink. It was the first sober Goose Fest I've ever had. It was great. Not waking up in the morning hungover, not worrying about anything. And, we had a bunch of new guys in town, and, I just kind of made sure everybody was in good standing with everyone. And I figure since I got through the Goose Festival without drinking, I got through my birthday without drinking, I'm pretty much good with that. I don't really need it anymore. And who knows? Maybe someday I'll be where I can have a cocktail. But to me, it's like, what's the point? If I stay away from those empty calories that are in alcohol or in sugar or, anything, this won't be a waste of time and money,
it's
right?
It's a good thing, man.
Because,
I tell you, I'm proud for you. And I know how much better you feel, because I'm the same way, and I got a long way to go. And I got to get through this hunting season, but hunting season's pretty easy for me because we have salads and stuff here every day, and
hunting season is terrible.
For me, it's
not. It is
not.
Awful for me because there's food on demand all the time. Like I can walk into that back door and there's something to eat.
At our lodges here, it's awful. The food is so good. and there's always cookies or desserts, or there's a soda machine, there's hot chocolate, on demand whenever you want. There's always a refrigerator full of leftovers. Our meals are like, breakfast is either like sausage, egg, and cheese, breakfast biscuit, or biscuits and gravy, a breakfast casserole, pancakes and sausage. Lunches are like cheeseburgers, chicken sandwiches, Taco Tuesday, pizza and chicken wings. Dinners are ribeyes, prime rib, the best pork chop you've ever had. It's unbelievable, the food that's here. And I made it through teal season, and I was still I couldn't eat a lot of the stuff during teal season. But now, during duck season's coming up, I can eat whatever I want, but I've been able to get through this long without it, that, I just have to, I know I can only eat so much, so I have to really focus what I do eat on. If I'm going to eat dinner tonight, it's going to have to be a little tiny piece of steak, a little bit of a baked potato, and once I can start eating lettuce again, I'll eat salad.
Did you have COVID?
But, no, I did not have, well, I don't think so. I never got sick. But I got vaccinated. I thought I was going to Canada, so I went and got vaccinated, but we just had too much infrastructure stuff to do here at the Grand, so I didn't end up going to Canada this year. But I'm not upset that I got vaccinated. I got the Johnson & Johnson shot, and nothing, no side effects, no sore arm, no sickness. My head hasn't fallen off, so, I'm glad I got vaccinated. But
I had COVID once for sure, and maybe a second time even too. But my taste is different, so certain things that I've eaten are things that taste good still, because a lot of shit tastes like crap to me. And Andy, you have that on some things, right?
Yeah. So I've heard from different people that coffee was tasting bad. Coffee never tasted bad for me until like a month ago.
When
we went to St. Lucia, I thought it was a different coffee. And it kind of smelled weird and tasted weird, and it just didn't taste right. And then when I got back home, coffee tasted the same. But I tell you what, Dirty Duck makes the Missouri boat ride, and it's got like a sweet flavor to it, a sweet aroma. And that does not have the COVID taste or smell. So the Dirty Duck Missouri boat ride, it's a sweeter flavor. And what's good about this, November, we're going clean here at the Big Honker Lodge. Jeff and Mom got into a big fight a couple days ago.
Fight's a big word.
We're
old and married.
Everybody
we just argued.
Everybody was at each other's throats a week ago. So we have made a pact that November 1st, we're cutting out sugar. I'm cutting out alcohol. And we're going to eat clean, and we're all going to kind of move our asses a little bit. So the only time I really have sugar is in my morning coffee. So having that sweeter Dirty Duck coffee is going to help me not put any sugar in my coffee. So I'm glad that Dirty Duck sent us that care package, because it is I have to have my coffee.
Yeah. We'll all be on the same team.
That's right.
Living clean.
That's right.
Well, we said we're going to eat clean. We didn't say we were living clean.
There's going to be some
clean.
There's going to be some bitchy bastards around here come about we're quitting Thanksgiving. The Thanksgiving, the wheels are off. You can go back to living your degenerate lifestyle. But November 1 to Thanksgiving.
So week run, and then you're going to be back off.
What's that?
You're going to have a 3-week run of eating clean, and then once Thanksgiving comes,
yeah.
you're off.
And that means on Friday we're going to be blowing that toilet up all day long.
Oh my goodness, we're not hunting Friday, are we?
Yeah,
we are hunting.
We have a hunt Friday.
I'm going to have to pace myself, because I've already kind of got some I'm regimented during hunting season. I don't need to throw that routine off. I can't be stopping at pivot tires to take a shit.
Hey, Arliss, do you wear Crocs?
I'm wearing Crocs.
I'm not a Croc wearer, but when we went to Bass Pro Shops, our friends went with us, and Coach, he had to go into store. We went into Croc World. Have y'all been to a Croc World before?
Never.
They make I have, in the Croc World didn't have any of the good
I didn't
ones.
realize Crocs made so many damn shoes.
Can you imagine how much money they're making? What do they sell them for? Like $30?
I think.
Depends on what you can get the off-road.
How much
one.
are the off-road ones?
I think it's $60.
Now, what do those have? Do those have like a liner in them or something? Because they make some that are warmer.
So they make them that they have a closed toe, so you don't get sticks inside the front of the toe, And then they also have a Velcro. The 4-wheel drive hub has got Velcro on it, so you can tighten it down.
I laugh at all my guys. They all wear fucking Crocs. I think
Andy
you're wearing a
does
fucking, but yeah, thank God. You're wearing a fucking plastic shoe like the Dutch wore with fucking holes drilled and all in them, and then you walk across the wet grass with socks on, and your socks are wet.
But imagine how much money they're making. No, they can't have $4 tied into a pair of Crocs.
No.
Oh no, absolutely not. So I have. Oh, hold on, I'm sorry. I just got a
Yeah, we can
roll
hear you.
call.
You're
Can you
good.
hear me?
Yes, this happens
Hey
quite
there?
often. You're good.
Yeah, sorry. I have my footwear, my daily footwear regimen goes from Crocs for the house or around the house to outside. I have the Lacrosse Alpha Muddy boots, which are kind of like those extra
Those
tops
are
that
sweet.
everybody
I got
wears
those.
now. But the difference, but you got to go to the Lacrosse ones. The sole is thicker, so when you step on a cockleburr, it doesn't.
Jeff's
stick to the
not in
bottom
a
of the
situation
boot.
where he's going to step
And
onto a
they've got a
cocklebur.
better
Like
tread.
Jeff is pavement only.
Well then, okay. But the all the guys have extra. I have the Lacrosse Alpha Burleys, and this is an argument at which boots are the best. But I like the Lacrosse boots, and then I go from those to waders. That's it. That's all I wear year round. Sometimes I'll wear like a pair of flip flops, but that's it. So it's either Crocs, Alpha Muddies.
See,
waders,
Comfort
that's
all
it.
the time.
I'm
baby.
And part of
I wear a Columbia everything.
the nice part about the Crocs is we separate into Crocs and not have to do anything else. There's no laces. There's no nothing. You just drop them on the ground, waders off, Crocs on, you hop in the truck or whatever.
I
you're
get
done.
it. Like, listen, I've got my shoe of choice. I wear them everywhere. I've got on Converses that are slip on, no laces. I've also gotten quite lazy in my old age. I slip them on, I'm out the door. I have, this is gonna sound quite homosexual, but I've never had a penis in my mouth. I want this disclaimer out there first. The things that I wear, if I got to wear waders, I've got a pair of UGG slippers, and I slip those on. Me and Tom Brady, the GOAT, we have the same style of footwear.
So you
Put on a pair of Uggs.
Were those Christmas gifts? Because I think I have some Uggs too.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
Mom, bought her baby Uggs.
Mom got
Yeah.
it. But I've not ever had a penis in or around my mouth.
Well, we're glad to hear that. Yeah.
But I do wear
Congratulations.
Uggs.
I have one more disclaimer also. I also have a pair
Oh,
of
okay.
boots that are my fancy going out.
Yes.
Those are the
Yes.
fancy
Those
dances.
also need to come with a disclaimer too.
Now, Crocs has a new shoe like a Hey Dude because I started to buy some when we were in the store. They look damn comfortable. Have you seen them?
Yeah, I'm an off-road Croc kind of guy, and that's the only pair I'll go with. I don't have any of the other, the fleece-lined ones. If it's that cold, I'm wearing my boots. If it's not, I can wear the now Crocs with socks. That's acceptable when it's either really hot out or really cold out, because when it's really hot, you don't want to get sweaty feet in your Crocs and you get sliding around. And then when it's cold, a little bit of extra insulation. I'm a Croc.
I don't know. There's so much etiquette that goes
Yeah.
into to Croc wearing.
If I see
I
somebody
did
in the
not
summer
realize.
not wearing socks, I'm going to have to get on to them.
Like, listen, motherfucker, it's 105. You put on your socks.
I started,
Yeah, a little nice pair of like ankle socks that'll change your
you know,
your sock
shows.
day.
When Crocs first came out with the fleece lined or wool lined ones, one year for Christmas, and it's been a way back. This one Crocs really just started coming out, and I had a pair of the old ones at one time. I used to wear around the house, and I was thinking, I got online and looked things to buy, gifts to buy for women that are hard to buy for age 35 up or whatever it was. Well, because Michelle has everything she wants anyway, so she's tough to buy for. Well, I saw these Crocs on there with these full fleece lined. I thought, hell yeah! So I ordered a set of those. So we come to the lodge like 2 days later, and there's and the girl who works for us is in here, and we had a Croc catalog back when they used to send shit out all the time. And I look at them. I said, "Look at these right here." I said, "I ordered those for Michelle. She's gonna love these." Blah 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 blah. It wasn't 15 minutes later. Michelle comes into work. She's looking through the catalogs, and she's like, "Oh my God!" This girl, she goes, "Look at this shit." She goes, "This is hideous." Because she goes, "Could you imagine someone buying you this?" And it's that same fucking pair of shoes I was gonna buy her. I turned around, went back in, got on the phone, and canceled that fucking order right there. Yeah,
dodged
I
that
thought,
bullet.
boy, I'm glad she said that now, and I didn't hear that because she'd have been like, "Oh, that's real good." Because we have a closet full of shit she's never bought anyway. So
A closet full of shit she's never worn.
I never worn.
Gifts
Yeah,
from you.
that I've bought. So you always leave the tag on, and you always get a receipt. That's my motto for life for anybody that's married. Well, there's some awkward time there. We got some dead time going here. We don't ever have dead time. We sound like another waterfowl podcast. A bunch of dead time here. Arliss, we appreciate you being on here, bud. I wish y'all the best on season. Hopefully you get some winter and you can push some of them birds down here from me.
Yeah, we'll try and keep the heated ponds to a minimum.
That's just the boys in
ducks
Louisiana
moving.
get mad at you, not us.
Do you? How much hate mail do you receive on a daily basis? You and your crew around you for having heated ponds.
I don't receive any personally. I mean, I try and keep it, fly under the radar as best I can. But as far as like, I don't have a ton of Instagram and all that stuff, but it's and that's fine by me. But Tony, I mean, obviously, and that stuff we just kind of brush it off. I see stuff online, people. I see it all the time. People saying stuff about heated ponds and HF and holding all the ducks and all that. And it's like, in the end of the day, I wish we could hold the whole migration up. That'd be great to have 8 million mallards here, but we really can't do that. But whatever. If anybody wants to come visit stuff out and see how much work we actually put into this, into making this wheel turn, by all means. But if it gets down below, below 10 degrees, 15 degrees for any stretch of time, the ducks leave. We do our best to keep the water open. We get any snow and it's cold, the ducks are gone. They go south. Doesn't matter what we do. We can hold some, but as far as stopping a migration, I think that's that whole ambient temperature outside and how much snow we got and the fact that it didn't freeze in South Dakota last year. I think that's probably more something to look at.
The funny thing about it is
it's low-hanging fruit is all it is.
Yep. And it's the guys from Louisiana that raise the hell, and most of them are hunting on rice that they flood after they get their last crop off of it. So it's the same damn thing. Not all of them, because a lot of them hunt the marshes and shit, but I've seen guys down there that are members of Hunt Club and they're flooding rice. So it's the same deal.
Well, I think part of what Louisiana doesn't, Louisiana's lost a lot of its rice. A lot of the rice now is grown in Arkansas compared to what it was. And every single water body, wetland, swamp, pond, creek, rice field in Louisiana has a duck hunter on it. No wonder there's no ducks there. They don't give them a chance to rest. I mean, Louisiana is still #1 in duck harvest.
Right.
I think followed by California too.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
It's like,
but
it's like no one wants to look in the mirror. It's just like, like Jeff and I surgery. Whose fault is it we gain so much weight?
Bingo.
Look in the mirror. It's your fault.
Well, and people
is bad.
People like to have something that they can blame, that they can touch, that they think that they can change. They don't want to
exactly.
Listen, for us, we have a shitload of speckle bellies out here. We used to not have that 15 years ago. We used to have Canadas. And there's, it's easy to point fingers at one thing or another. And, because maybe we can change these things. But it sucks to just say, you know what? We hadn't had fucking winter in 20 years. The agriculture out here is the agriculture methods are starting to change. And there's nothing you can change. It's just you fucking shitty luck.
Make the most of what you got.
Sumner is one of those wild goose capitals of the world, right? There's 5 or 6 of them probably. We have a giant paper mache goose that's 40 feet tall. And Sumner used to be a thriving place to come and goose hunt, right? The whole eastern prairie population of Canada geese would winter at Swan and Silver Lake. Every field has an old concrete pit in it. There was towers in the woods where guys would climb up these giant tree stands and pass shoot geese. And now there'd be 350, 400,000 geese that would winter there. If we get 10,000, it's a lot. Just the geese changed. The powerhouse, the cooling plants in Iowa, Kansas City, St. Louis, all that stuff. All the geese go to different places now. They go to cities. They stay further into Iowa. We don't get near as much snow. We don't get near as much cold, and they just don't come here anymore. It just is what it is. we don't go on the internet and hate on the nuclear power plants in Iowa for stopping the geese.
Right. Yeah.
What happened?
Just shit
You gotta
happens.
make the most of what it is.
Arliss, we appreciate you coming on, my friend. Good luck this hunting season. When's Cooper get back? Is he back now?
No. There's no way. There's too much work to get done for Coop to be here now. He'll be here probably like a couple hours before.
He's like a blister. He shows up after the work's done.
No, he'll probably be here. Oh, we don't start till next Saturday. He'll probably be here next Tuesday or Wednesday if I had to guess. But maybe we'll
that'll be
come
good.
on
Like
next
to do
time.
that. Y'all take care of yourself. God bless y'all. Tony, tell Tony I said hello and have a great day. Thank
Bye.
you.
Good luck, guys. Be safe.
Arliss Reed.
Arliss Reed, keeping the train on the track there at the Grand Habitat Flats.
Poor guy spending all that money to buy new hunting clothes now. Whew.
Ooh, and he was wearing Sitka too, so that is not going to be an inexpensive
Nope.
expedition.
I'm going
It's,
to contact him about New York, though.
Oh yeah,
I'm really excited about that trip.
that's good, Jeff.
Get off one trip, ready to go on another.
World
Traveler. That's right. That's exactly right. All right, what else going on in life? Anything?
I don't think so.
This will be episode 501, right?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Thank y'all for listening to us. God bless y'all. Have a great week. Be safe this year on Halloween, and watch out for those kiddos.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Go check out all of our wonderful sponsors. Check out Dirty Duck Coffee. Maybe your coffee has changed kind of like mine has. The Missouri Boat Ride's the way to go. Lucky Duck, Boss Shot Shells, Dive Bomb Industries, Pacific Calls, Shin Gear Waiters, Steak Plains Meat, Looking Glass Duck Club Podcast, Gundog Outdoors, Goose Creek Retrievers, Bangtail Whiskey, Eyesight Drones, Stanfield Hunting Outfitters.